Okay, this is question 18 in test 7, section 3. It's on page 773. And it's the last question in the section, so you know it's going to be pretty tough. So it says, at time t equals 0, a ball was thrown upward from an initial height of 6 feet. Until the ball hit the ground, its height in feet after t seconds was given by the function h above, in which c and d are positive constants. If the ball reached its maximum height of 106 feet at time t equals 2.5, what was the height in feet of the ball at time t equals 1? Okay, so first you want to get c in terms of d. So you could do that by plugging in the information that you have. So you have that when the time t is 0, the height is 6 feet. So you can just plug this in as 6 here, and then plug in 0 here as t. So let's do that. So we'll get 6 equals c minus d minus 4 times 0, which is just going to be d minus 0 squared, which will just be d squared. And next we're trying to get c in terms of d, so that means moving c to one side of the equal sign and moving everything else to the other side of the equal sign. So we'll get negative c equals negative 6, because we would just subtract the 6, minus d squared. Whoops. Okay, so we can divide everything by -1 so that we have c as positive c. So c equals 6 plus d squared. Okay, so now we have c in terms of d. And then we want to plug in the other information that we're given. So we're given that the ball reaches its maximum height of 106 feet at time t equals 2.5. So I'm just going to express c in terms of d up here somewhere so we could hold on to that. So we have c equals 6 plus d squared, because we're going to want that later when we're trying to express the whole equation just in terms of one variable. So we'll replace c with 6 plus d squared. Okay, so now we plug in this information that the ball reaches its maximum height of 106 feet. So remember, height is here. That happens when the time is 2.5, so we need to plug in 2.5 as the time here. And we need to replace c with 6 plus d squared, because we want everything to be in terms of d. And we went to the trouble of figuring out what c is in terms of d, so we could put that in, 6 plus d squared to replace c. And then we have minus d minus 4t squared. The parentheses are really important here, and that's very true late in the test. So we need to plug in 2.5 for t. And since this is in parentheses, we need to do this before we square anything. So we have d minus 10, because 4 times 2.5 is 10. Okay, now one big problem I see with this particular problem is that people distribute this squared, which you can't do because you need to FOIL d minus 10. So to FOIL, you do d minus 10 times d minus 10. And first you'd multiply the first term, so you get d squared. Then the outermost term, so you get negative d, negative 10d. And then the inner terms, minus 10d again. And then minus 10 times negative 10, I should call it negative 10, gives you plus 100. Whoops. Okay, we'll bring this over. Minus, and I'm going to keep the parentheses because we should be distributing that negative to everything that we found here. Okay, so I'm just going to reproduce that. D squared minus, I am going to combine these. When you add those up, it'll be minus 20D. And then plus 100. Okay, and now we need to distribute the negative. So we'll get minus D squared, which will make these cancel. This will become positive, and this will become negative. So now we have 106 equals 6 plus 20D plus a negative 100. I'm just gonna make it minus 100. Okay, and now we just need to combine like terms. So we're gonna move all of the numbers over. Okay, so when we subtract 6 from 106, we'll get 100, and then we're adding 100, so we get 200. Sorry. Equals 20D. And then when you divide by 20 on each side, you'll get D equals 10. Okay, so this is very helpful because then we could answer the question that they have. They want to know the height when the time is T. So we know D is 10. From that, we'll be able to figure out what C is. So then we have our two constants, and we have the time, so we could figure out the height. So let me just make some room here, and then we'll plug all the information in. Okay, so what is the height at time T when D is 10? And then let's plug that in here to figure out what C is. So C is 6 plus D squared. So 10 squared is 100. So C is 106. Okay, so 106 for C minus parentheses D is 10 minus 4 times the time is 1, so minus just 4. And then all of that squared. Okay, so remember, we have to combine 10 and negative 4 first, so we'll get 6 from that. We also have to square 6 first before we apply this negative to it. So that gives us 106 minus 36. And 106 minus 36 is going to give us 70. So that is our answer. Height 70. And I'm going to work on making a calculator video about this also because you could solve this by graphing, which would be much easier.